You're listening to the Creative Capital Podcast. You're dying to learn about how you can create wealth through real estate investing? Then you come to the right place. Join in every week as we go over the ins and outs of real estate investing and learn how you too can become financially free. What's going on, everybody? This is Josh Ferrari, host of the Creative Capital Podcast, and I am grinning from ear to ear right now because today is all about positivity from none other than the most positive person I think I've ever met, Vinney. Even his nickname is Smile. I mean, if you read some of his books, you see he literally tags himself as Vinney Smile Chopra. He is without a doubt a phenomenal, just human being. The fact, like the different type of investments that he's in, his passion for generosity and for continuing to provide extensive value, not just what you hear of providing value. He is always trying to go above and beyond for his investors, for his tenants, and now he's in senior living. So for his seniors, we cover so many amazing topics today. A lot about mindset, but also just the way that Vinney is. You know, he loves educating people, and he's a public speaker and everything. And so when you ask him a question, he covers so much territory in that one question. And so, like I was saying, we go over mindset, we go over how-tos, we go over like his why, and maybe what your why is. There's so many things we talk about. I think at the end there, we had definitely listen out for the pod deck segment. Those questions that he answers are very eye-opening. And I love that he loved the segment. He was like, oh, I've never heard of this before. And he was loving it. So yeah, guys, this show is going to be amazing. We talk not only about multifamily investing, also senior living, assisted living. We talk about some of the obstacles and struggles that he had to go through 45 years ago from when he came over to the United States from India, and how he stayed positive through that. We go over what his secret to his positivity is and how that has truly shaped his business and his life. How it bleeds in to every aspect of his life, with his family, his personal life, his hobbies, his business, and how his continual generosity just continues to come back to him and just allows him to be that much more generous. I mean, it's phenomenal. I love this guy, love Vinney, and I'm so excited that we were able to get him on, and I cannot wait for you guys to see this episode. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. Hey, what's going on, Vinney? It's good to have you out on the show.
It's great to be there with your show, Josh. You're in Mobile, Alabama. I'm near San Francisco in the East Bay in Black Hawk, Danville, California. We've been living here for 40 years, buddy, 40. We were in Ohio before that. Got just married, I look like I just got married yesterday. And
yeah.
Hey, I'm only 68. I'll be 69 this year. But I really believe that it's all in the mindset. Age is just a number. It really is a number. And I've been saying that for the last 50 years in my family circle. Hey, every year when it's my birthday, I'm 1 year younger. 1 year younger. I've been saying that, and I tell my kids, they're in the 30s now, and I tell them, hey, you're growing older, daddy's growing younger, so we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
That's so great. 1 year younger every year. Oh, man. Well, Vinney, tell us, I know you just gave us like a brief synopsis there, but tell us a little bit more about yourself, kind of where you come from, for those that don't really know who you are and what you do, and then kind of how you got interested in real estate.
Oh, sure. Actually, I'm from India originally, lived in a one-bedroom apartment with 6 siblings, 6 plus 2, mom and dad, 8 people in one-bedroom apartment. Never had a television, never had a refrigerator, never had a telephone, not the cell phone, even the regular home phone, we didn't have it. And, so it was very humble beginnings, walked to my school, and, we didn't have a car or anything, but we had ambition, right? And my dad actually would hold a school every night. Can you believe it? After dinner, he was very, very particular about education. And that helped me a lot, and my other siblings, my brothers, sisters, and all. And so he will hold a school so that we learn what teacher was going to teach us next day. This is in elementary school, then junior high, then high school. And I became mechanical engineer and got a distinction. Actually, I got the highest score in the whole district. I never say those things,
Wow.
but I got merit scholarship for 5 years from the Indian government, to pay for me to go to college. Actually, what it is. So they pay for everything and they give you a stipend also. So that was kind of fun. Then I worked for Larsen Toubro Bombay, which is the number one company now. At 40 years later, 44 years later, it's the number one company, Reliance Group. I worked for them in heavy fabrication master planning. Oh, I'm just trying to remember all these things. And then I said, I definitely want to go to America for doing my MBA. So that's what brought me here to United States with $7 in my pocket. I landed into LaGuardia Airport, New York, and lo and behold, I found out. Maybe I discussed that also in the book, in the positivity book. Maybe I did that. There was a strike going on in New York. Some of the airline. I was going to go to Washington, D.C., where my uncle was going to receive me. They flew me in a helicopter. This young boy, didn't see any world at all. 7 seas across. I'm in a pilot and myself. And I still have that memories. And I'm going over the bridges of New York to Newark, New Jersey to catch a plane from there. So anyway, that's where my humble beginning is. And then I sold Bibles and encyclopedias while I was doing my MBA to cut my teeth in sales. I left my engineering behind and got into sales and marketing and motivation.
Wow. There is like a gazillion things we could unpack there, but we obviously do not have time. But okay, so you came over from India to here to get your MBA.
Yes.
And then to make ends meet, you were just selling Bibles while you were doing that?
It's amazing. My uncle paid for my tuition. I think it's just $1,500 or $1,600 back then at George Washington University, which is a private university right there in Washington, D.C. And I didn't know. And he tells me later on, he didn't know where the next tuition is going to come, and so forth. So one of my colleague, my friend I made, he says, Vinny, what are you doing for summer? I said, I don't know anything over here. I just came from India. My accent was so thick, nobody could understand me. He says, you know what? I sold Bibles and encyclopedias last year, and I made some money. Do you want to come along with me? Literally, that's how it was. YK Agarwal, if he's listening to me anytime, just a great guy. And then we went from Washington, D.C. to Nashville to get the teaching, learning and everything. And then they sent us to Atlanta, Georgia. And there I was walking 13 hours a day. It was 80 hours a week. In this company, you work 70 hours or 80 hours a week, which is good. It's like you get a lot of rejection. You get a lot of things are falling on your lap, and you are, just like crazy attitude control, all that stuff. But then somebody drops you off, then you walk all day long, and then you knock on the doors and you sell encyclopedias for students and kids and all that. And guess what? I liked it.
Wow. So you've always liked sales then. That was kind of your entry to the sales world. And so from there to where you are now.
Yeah.
Tell us kind of what happened. So from selling Bibles to, hundreds of millions in real estate, where did that switch come from?
I'm glad you're saying that. So essentially, after 3 summers of doing it, right, I saved up money and everything. And then I said, man, I need a full-time job. You can't just work 3 months in a year. And that's when I found a company which was in motivation speaking and fundraising out of Tennessee. And they are the ones who really got me honed into as a salesperson, as a marketing person, individual, and then a speaker, a public speaker. And that's what I spend a lot of my time in, earning money And that's when we moved 40 years back also into California to expand the whole division of the motivation and the fundraising company. Rest is history. When I arrived here, our friend circle, they talked about real estate. This is 44 years back now. 44 years back. I said, man, what is this real estate? Literally, I didn't know anything about anything. And we bought our first home, my wife and I, for $99,000, which is like 1,300,000 now, maybe. I don't know. We sold
Yeah.
it for very cheap, of course, but then we upgraded. Now we bought $3.6 million home here in,
Wow.
which is nice, thanks to syndication world and the other very, very nice, things we have done investment wise. But essentially, we were buying single family homes, rentals. What we found back 40 years back, 35 years back, was to just save up as much as you can. And then you do the burr, right? The burr, like we
Yeah.
hear right now. It was very popular then too. So we bought things, my wife and I, we did renovations. We also built actually custom home. Can you believe it? Custom home.
Wow.
And sold it to a doctor. We bought some acre of land in California. We wanted to build, there were 4 homes on it. So it was money making deal. We were going to move the homes and then build 32 units over there. That was something we thought 30 years back. Can you believe it? So anyway,
Oh,
so we were always getting into real estate more and more and more, my wife and I. Then she became a realtor and so forth. Then she says, Vinny, you know so much. You become a broker. And guess what? 2005, 16 years back, I became California broker. And I have not sold a single dime, literally single dime of selling or making any commission in that brokerage, but I became investor and syndicator instead. That was the best decision I ever made, because instead of that, otherwise we would be just selling homes and making 3% commission or 2% commission, right? But I just wanted to get to scale it up. We had many homes all over Atlanta, Texas, Phoenix, California, all over. Property management companies were making the money, and the contractors and everything. But at the end of the day, nothing was really sizing up for us to really retire on. Let's just say that, right?
right.
That's when the light bulb came on. Hey, commercial. So that's when we decided. I looked into leasing, I looked into hospitality, into office space, industrial, everything. But being an engineer, multifamily made total sense to me. When somebody told me about it, I said, oh my gosh, I totally can see it. 30 homes all over, 30, people living in under 2 roofs made so much sense. Economies of scale, all that. Contract only one for the whole 30 units rather than 30 different qualification of loans, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that was our journey in 2005, 6. That's 14, 15 years back. Then I said, okay, I want to learn everything. Said, I don't know anything about anything, right? That's the best thing anybody could look at it, is that you want to gather the information, free knowledge and paid knowledge. I believe in paid knowledge, because paid knowledge can get you to a new level much faster, much, much faster. Then you can concentrate on not, because see, the thing is, when we are, internet is so savvy now, right? We look at one article this way, one here, everybody's got their own views. And then as a new investor, I was getting frustrated back then too. I said, okay, who's the number one coach back then? And I found one. I looked at the books and spent $140,000 or $50,000. Hold on.
Wow.
In education alone. And I'm making millions now every year, right? That was the best investment ever I did it, because I've never lost money. I've never gone through things where ups and downs, they do come. But when you know your material right, the experience really helps a lot to really not burn thousands of dollars, right? So So each mistake can cost thousands of dollars. By having a personal coach, it really helped me to give me confidence. And I started from one investor to 326 investors now. From one investor, from 14 units of $180,000, I think. We Now we bought $52 million deal. 52 million. From 180,000 to 52 million, it takes lots and lots of stresses and strains to reach there. But you pull the trigger, we call it, right? Pull the trigger. Right. Only when you have the confidence that you've done smaller deals and then bigger. And now we have started how much? 120 million just last year during COVID. Hold on. During COVID.
Yeah.
We raised $32.8 million during COVID, and we got exciting goals coming up in 2021.
$32 million raise in 1 year. Wow. I didn't even come close to that many acquisitions last year. So anyway, you are crushing it. You've been in the space for 40 plus years. And I like that you mentioned that. I like that because people need to know that real estate as almost guaranteed, you could say, that it is to create wealth, because so many people that are wealthy got wealthy from real estate.
Yes.
It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's going to take time. It's going to take hustle. Yes. You're going to have to be grinding. And who knows how long the timeline's going to be. For some people, it's like 6 months and they're like buying 100 units. And for other people, it takes 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. It takes a little bit longer. So for you, having got into it and it sounded like you paid a mentor or you paid a coach to really escalate you in that aspect. But starting from when you really decided to get into real estate to say where you are now, I'm sure it has not been easy breezy the whole entire way. Like, there has been some obstacles. What have been the biggest obstacles that you have had to overcome? And then how did you overcome those with such positivity?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sure. What I find, Josh, is that first of all, in the positivity, I've been a very positive person. I was never like that, by the way. I want to tell everybody, in India, when I was growing up, I was not this positive. I was goal-oriented, but not positive. But by reading the books, by listening to Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and a lot of great mentors, and they don't know me, Tony Robbins, all of them, but I got their material, and that has brainwashed me. Literally, I let them brainwash me to make me a positive person. So now I look at everything in the most positive sense. I look at, that the things get quickly done better, faster, and, I don't get rejection. It just passes through me, on the shoulder, and I don't even hear those objections, things like that. So the key thing is to train your mind, your subconscious and conscious, to look at every situation as there is some silver lining. We always have heard that, silver lining on the dark cloud. But the thing is, if we can reduce our bounce back time, I call it bounce back time, from a rejection, from a sorrow, from something that hit us hard in the business or personal life or anything like that, if we look at it and challenge ourselves to face on, hit it, find out what happened, how it happened, and then agree to it, what happened as due to me or outside, but the buck stops with me, no matter what, right? Then you say, okay, how can we remedy that? The sooner we get into the solution mode, the quicker the problem is solved. The sooner we get to not linger on, to leave it for next day and next day and next day. The thing is to be proactive so that the situations don't happen. So let me go back. 14 years back, I got into partnership, which was the worst thing one can do. I'm telling you. And I teach in my academy now. Never, never, never join hands or join hip at the hip with somebody that you don't know how that person is integrity wise and truthfulness and loyalty and everything. And if you form that LLC, you are bound to be staying for 5 years until you sell the asset. So it's good to just do your LLC and their LLC, and you just join one small deal just to figure it out, right? And then you see it's kind of like courting, just like in the dating and then marriage.
Yeah.
Don't do the marriage right away. That was my policy. The other thing is due diligence. Oh my gosh. It's so important that when you're buying the things, you got to spend time, energy, and all that, so that you can get the best of the best due diligence people with you to look through the foundation, the sewer lines, the electrical system, the roof, the everything, right? So that's something where I have also found myself growing over the years. You ask me how many bad things happened, a lot of bad things, right? But you learn from each situation, right? It's an event. It's an event. You learn from it, you get better and better and better, right? The other part is how to really make sure that the investors are well taken care of, right? How to do meetings in front of the investors and record them and give them all the financial data. All the companies I've started, 4 companies I've started, and they are transparent, totally transparent. Our investors can ask for anything and everything. We drop everything in our company to cater to our investors. What has that brought for us is the investor that gave us $100,000 14 years back, gave us 3.8 million. One investor. So always look at investor as not one person, it's many people behind them, because they're going to tell the positivity. We talk about positivity book, the delightness and the positiveness and the frankness and everything, genuineness, whatever you can call, right? They're going to tell their relatives, their friends, and this. They're going to boast at the place of work, hey, Vinny's company made so much. Hey, I just got so much money in the, we just figured it out. We have given cash flow of like almost 130 million or something in the last, and this is just the cash flow. But then the equity gains are much higher because I double, triple the money, quadruple the money, in the deals, because they were cheaper back then. Now also we're making very good returns. But anyway, the big thing is you got to take care of the investors. You got to feel their gold. You got to take care of the people in the front office, because they are representing Moneil, and so they're gold. Our employees, our team members, we call them. At the peak, we had 135 of them, because we always managed our assets too. So we bought them 26 or 28, and then we also managed them, then disposed them off, and then bought new ones, right? So like that. So it's good to have, they are gold, then residents are gold. That's the big thing. I mean, that's our mission also. We build the cafes and things like that, and, the, dog parks and you name it, right? And then, media centers, all those things, and the smart home features and all that. So to bring the residents awareness and camaraderie and everything, and also feeling that it's their home. And then comes the team members, our VPs of all the different departments and regional managers, asset managers, and everybody. So you were asking me a question like what I've learned. I think it all with the time, right? You are able to learn things. I would highly recommend everybody listening to us to really dig deeper into with the contractors. And, even if you have a property management company that's managing your assets, shoulder to shoulder, let them know that you are learning and you want to be more involved. So, that's what we did. We had 2 investment companies, 2 management companies. because of the partner, before, like I said, then my wife and I are 100% partner, 50-50 now in the Moneil Moneil Management. That's when we took off. And it's only 6 years old company, by the way, only 6 years.
Yeah.
So out of 14, 8 years there, 6 years, and we have tripled what we did. Because when you fly like an eagle, up on the top, the freedom comes, And that's why we are so excited now to do our assisted senior living space that we have got into multifamily, building it from scratch and everything, Class A buildings of 90 units collecting 4.5 million revenue, which is as compared to 400 regular apartment units. So that's our niche now, in the multifamily with the senior assisted living and memory care, which we are building it, and then we are stabilizing it, leasing it up, and then we are cashing out the investors in 3 years, and then getting new investors in for next 5 years. So, so that's our $2 billion project, 2 billion with a B, that we'll be building for the next 10 years. It's 200,000 each year kind of thing, So that's a new one. And then we'll be buying also stabilized assisted living in a REIT. So we are forming a REIT. We are becoming our own bank.
Oh my goodness. Vinny, I wish that the listeners could see us talking right now, not only because of your consistent positivity, but my jaw has like hit the floor. Like there's so many awesome things that you guys are doing, not just this year, but you've got 10, 15-year plans. 69 years old, you're going to live forever. You're getting younger. Yeah, that's the way it is. So that's awesome. Okay. Well, I definitely want to dive into the assisted living area of it and kind of ask what that is. But first, I wanted to go back to the positivity side of things. And I am a little bit like you. I'm not nowhere near as positive as you always are with a smile on your face, which is phenomenal. But I am definitely, at least in like our partnership and my marriage, I'm always the more optimistic one. Yeah. And some people come at me as far as I guess deals would go, maybe like due diligence or analyzing deals. I'm the one that's like, oh, it's going to work. Like, we'll put a little bit of buffer in there, but it's going to work. Like, it's good. We're going to make it happen. We can get the money, no problem. Timeline's not an issue. You know what I mean? Always optimistic, happy, and going. And so I need that balance. You know what I'm saying? From someone else that that actually is, I guess, more of a realist.
Bring you down to the earth, right. I call it.
And so how is that kind of how you were as far as analyzing? Like, how did you balance that?
I'm so glad you're asking me that question. I'm so glad. And, our daughter is now fully involved in the business. She's also becoming vice president of operations. She is. And then even doing a lot more my CEO jobs also for portions of them. But the key thing is, I'm so glad you're saying that, because more optimistic people, it's good to have outlook of positivity, but be a realist. And let me tell you why. I have never lost a deal, and I've closed on all 36 deals on time. Haha. Why do you say that? 100% from the letter of intent to full closing of 441 million. That's what we have done so far. So every single one is closed because of my engineering mind is that I'm enthusiastic, but also very logical is the word, because I want the right underwriting. I don't want to put fluff in it. I want to make sure that the assumptions that we are considering are very sound, because I cannot take my investors' money and put it in a deal that I did not do a good underwriting assumptions on. 2018 or 17, I raised 50 million or close to 50 million. Totally it was 11 million in the bank. I returned all that money because I could not find a deal that made sense for my investors. And they appreciated me. They said, Vinny, oh my gosh, we appreciate you, what you're telling us, that you don't want to put our money in a deal that you don't feel that good about. And
Yeah.
you're returning our money. And that's what it's all about. So the thing is, we need to be optimistic, but also conservative in underwriting. We need to have brokerage, loan brokers side by side. The reason I can close on the deal on time within 60 days, or like the last one we just bought in Austin during COVID, we just closed it 34,750,000. And guess what? 54 days we closed it. We raised all the 17 million we needed within 2.5 weeks. Never did a webinar, not a single webinar. It's the people we have built, our clientele with the investors, and we are very protective of our investors. They hear from me in the quarterly meetings and everything, where Vinny's going. We keep communication with them and say we are buying in Florida, we are buying in the tech space, we are going to Austin. So they are prepared beforehand, and they know when the email comes from Vinny, they got to act right away and then fill out the form. And it's time stamped by who logged in, and when they told us about this survey, how much they want to commit, 200,000, 500,000, 400, and it's in real time. And
Yeah.
then also they're not in the deal. So we start waiting list after that. And then we get the PPM done in 1 week or so. Usually our attorneys are very good. 7 days, they have PPM, docs, subscription agreement. And then they have to do the DocuSign right away, then wire the money right away. If they don't do, they are not in the deal. So we kind of, have sense of urgency and all that, which everybody probably does. But the big thing is, you got to make sure you're positive but conservative.
Right.
The deal we just bought, we put 35% down. A lot of people are looking for putting only 20% down, because then the numbers work for them. See, less money you put down, your COC, cash on cash, is going to be pretty high because you put less money down. But
Yeah.
when you are also, having in this, very up and down economy, right? With the jobs and everything happening, that you might have debt so high, the LTV, loan to value, so high that you could really put investors' money in a jeopardy. So that's why we are conservative, and we got interest rate of 2.68%.
Ooh.
2.68%, 30-year amortized, 10-year fixed, 3 years of interest only at 2.68% with the Freddie.
Yeah.
So that's where, our investors love us, because we are conservative, and our underwriting is done by my team and myself right on the ball, because it's millions of dollars. I get involved, but then our loan people also do their underwriting simultaneously. So we are blessed to get the loan before we put 500,000 hard money, it's called, right? You know it, at the signing of the contract. That's how we got the deal in Austin. So we gave 500,000 upfront at the signing of the contract. If we don't close the deal, we lose 500,000.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I guess I should clarify a little bit then. I'm not like willy-nilly in my due diligence. Like we're definitely conservative, but I've got my definition of conservative, and then because I got two partners, so it's three of us, and then my Reggie, he's got his idea of conservative, which is a little more conservative than me, and then Matt's idea of conservative is like way up there. Like we need a buffer on top of the buffer on top of the buffer. So it's like we gotta pan each other out and kind of and work that out. But awesome, Vinny, awesome. So I wanted to ask one more question before we jump into the senior assisted living, because definitely want to get to that.
Yeah.
But how I mean, you are talking about raising tens, hundreds of millions of dollars in a year, in 2 years, so on and so forth. And that is astounding. Most people are never going to do that in their lifetime. Most people struggle raising money, so on and so forth. And so my question would be, how do you create such a genuine connection with your investors and like keep it ongoing to where they're always coming back to you and not like going somewhere else?
I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad. I call it putting a shield around your investors. You
Yeah.
know, we spend, just to kind of mention it to you, people adhere to what you are, communication is the big thing. In my books and in everybody's books, it should be so that you are sending newsletters, you are making sure that you are giving some great articles on the special things happening in multifamily. You're giving a great investor experience, I call it, because it's like the portal. Like we use Appfolio. We used to use IMS. We use Appfolio now, where we are giving them updates and everything. And, they come in there and we are uploading the pictures of the property. None of the investors will fly to the properties, but I've been bringing the property to the investors for the last 14 years. So we design PowerPoint presentations, which are templated, and we put the pictures of the asset. So every quarter they see the pictures of the asset, and then there is a gallery at the end of the presentation of the new pictures of the asset. It's almost like you just flew that evening when I do my PowerPoint presentation with my investors, and it's live. They can ask any question and every question, and I go over information in a systematic way. And then guess what? I know every investor is going to watch it till the end. At the end, I put my selling hat on and I shared with them where Vinny's going, where Moneil is going, where I'm thinking, which place I'm going and why, and put the graphs and everything. So it was the easiest way for me to raise $20 million in a new assisted senior living ground ups. Here, I've been buying built multifamily, right? And I'm giving investors money from day one. But I know in the ground up, I cannot pay them for a year. So I designed with my team a whole PowerPoint presentation to show the need and where the trends are, where the big shift is going, and then comparison of my regular multifamily C, B, and B plus, what that brings and what multifamily in senior assisted living brings, and compared it back to back right there, why senior living multifamily is the safest bet for the next 30 years. Because the demand is there, revenues are there, zero delinquency, zero concession, and my residents, seniors, are living in our facilities 30 months. As compared to my regular multifamily, they're living 6 months or 9 months. Some are living longer than that, but quite a few jobs. I don't have to chase jobs anymore because seniors have made their money. They are retired. They are having their best time of their life, now. So it's a non-working class in one spectrum for me now. It's multifamily, which I can take it to 90%, 95% and build it in 1 year. I can build ground up, with my partner, of course, and the GCs and all that. So that's very exciting. It's just bringing a new blood in my veins, that I can help so many seniors. I'm one of the seniors myself, but I can really help the seniors who have really made good money investing into the same buildings that they'll be living in them too.
Wow, what a neat niche there. Well, cool. Yeah, I haven't even thought about all of those upsides to senior living, so we'll have to jump into that. But just to recap real quick, it sounded like you said you do quarterly communications with your investors.
Mm-hmm.
And every quarter, it's not just like an email with some photos or something. It's a live like webinar of you like, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Here's the gallery. Here's where we're headed. Like, get ready, get prepared. And they just soak it up. They love it, right?
And maybe not all the investors come, right, Josh? Because due to whatever reasons or whatever, we record and then we send the link to all the investors of that asset. So even those who went through it, if something really caught their attention, they'll watch it, first of all. Secondly, the people who did not attend due to whatever reason, they're going to watch it too. So it's the best of the best of the best. And I do 4 webinars when I buy a property. Let me explain what I mean. Because I want my investors to feel good that we have a closing statement. I go over line by line item to tell my investors that, hey, your money is secure. Legal entities are formed, which they cite in the PPM and everything, right? But it's been about 4 months now, right, when we close the deal. So I take them back to basics and I go over closing statement and the escrows and everything in my first webinar. Now, this is not quarterly. This is after 1 month of purchasing the property. Second month, I do another webinar. Now I show them the staff and what we have done and what curb appeal we have changed, the pictures and everything. Third webinar I do to show them the software that we are using to manage the deals, where the reports come in, the authenticity, the invoicing, and introduce my staff of the people in my team, my VP of finance, all that stuff, right? And then you get into the quarterly meetings. So it's a great way to really teach the investors and give them peace of mind. The key thing is I don't want them to worry. I don't want them to worry, Yeah.
Oh man, it's so cool to be able to get that inside scoop on what it is that you've done to raise hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. But now we are going to jump right into this assisted living, and you've kind of given a huge or brief synopsis, I should say, on what some of the pros are for senior living versus multifamily or any other asset class. And so where did the initial interest come from to be like, I don't necessarily I want to go into senior housing? Where did that come from?
Very good point, Josh. What happened is I believe in the law of attraction, right? I believe very much laws of positivity and everything. But at the same token, 3 years, it's been maybe 3 or 4 years now, I've been thinking about how can I really help the senior, because I read that book, The Big Shift. I knew in the back of my mind, being a logical person, I'm looking at next 5 years and 10 years and 15 years, right? And I said, you know what? There is a huge demand which is getting going. And how can I get into senior living investing, and also how to really get the whole ball going? I just did those custom homes, and then did some renovations and a lot of renovations I've done, millions of dollars, but never built it from scratch, right? So by sending the signals out, I get John Rusin join me as the VP of my academy. And I'm talking to John. I said, you know what, John, I've been really trying to get into this senior living. He says, Vinny, you're not going to believe Shahid, my buddy. We went to school together 9 years back. And he, after graduation, went into senior living. And he is building this wonderful, senior living facilities in Michigan, right? Every town of Michigan, Hampton Manor, if you Google them, they're all over the place in Michigan. He says, Vinny, you got to have a meeting with him. That's what happened. Look at that. So here I was just sending signals out. John comes into, and then now Shahid, and now we are ready for next 20 years to really, kill it in, developing the senior living. We are just even building a software now. We just met with people in India, my brother-in-law, and the IT people we are employing there to design a software, how to manage and do everything. So that'll be our another part of the new company now.
Wow.
So senior living, that's how I got going. And that's what has really, then we did a lot of research. You know us, right? We want to get to the best of the graphs and putting them through the VAs. We have 6 VAs working for us all over the globe, right from Nigeria to India to Bangladesh to Toronto to Vancouver. And I mean, all these people, right? I mean, and my social media companies in Pune, India, I don't do nothing, on the social media.
Yeah.
Everything on my posts, everything comes from, people when I'm sleeping, right? So it's the automation, right? So that's where the things started to blossom with senior living. And it's a 9-month process to look into the feasibility studies in any given area of the state where the seniors want to live, right? Then you have to go through ordinance changes, it's called, and the different building permits and everything and all that. Then the construction loans have to be procured. So it's a 9-month process before even we put shovel in the ground. So
Wow.
that's where we are doing now. All our millions of dollars we are investing in locking in the lands to go through all these, because I don't want investors' money to pay for these things. I don't want investors' money tied up with development costs and everything and all that as all. I use my own money. If we were not to get the right results, then we won't put shovel in the ground. Then we lose money ourselves, not investor, right? So that's what we do now. So once we get green lights on the project, then we raise money, within a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, and then we start construction. And we have general construction. We have done like 23 times. We have built the same model, and now we've even perfected it to even better with movie theaters in there, with the dining halls, 4 dining halls. We have sous chefs in our facilities, and they cook to order meals, 5-star meals, 5-star 3 times a day, and snacks. And we got exercise rooms, and we got everything, spas, we got salons inside our multifamily. Everything is inside. And then swimming pools and putting greens and all that. And we build only 1 story with 3 courtyards or 4 or 5 courtyards over 7 acres of land. So essentially our model is to spoil the generation that has spoiled us. It's actually shaheeds, and we have taken that tagline because we are not here to make only money. Money will come, but we want to give the experience of the lifetime to our seniors who have really, really done so much for the country and everybody, right? So now it's their golden years of, that 80 years, 85 to 90 to 100 years, right? We have, I think, and 0 COVID effect. We had 0 death and 0 COVID effect in the 14 of the already built ones we are managing, because we manage ourselves, everything. So it's right from construction to stabilization to overall operation, we manage everything.
Oh, that is so great and so cool. It's so cool that you are putting your life's work, you could say, into now helping seniors, when before it just sounds like throughout the whole process of everything you've done since birth has always been to like help someone else. Like, I'm going to go sell Bibles and encyclopedias so people can learn about Christ and so people can get educated in the encyclopedia. And then I'm going to go invest in real estate and make sure that I can make my investors money. So the deal has to be right. Now I'm doing multifamily, and I'm going to make it super nice so the tenants can have a great lifestyle and so my investors can make money. And then now it's the same thing with senior living. Seniors are going to have a great lifestyle and the investors are going to have awesome. And you've got your family working with you. It's such a cool picture of just the dream. It sounds like.
No, I thank you. Thank you so much. I just feel like, I'm just a regular person. I think, I always have felt that I want to give the value to everybody, and everybody above, below, sideways. I believe that. I think everybody is a great soul, and we can bring so much positivity, so much value, right? I believe in energy, and that's what it's all about. I believe that you can really conquer so much by giving so much. It comes back so many folds in your life, literally. I mean, I'm here today because of hundreds of people, in my teams and my leaders and everybody who work so hard, in our teams and so forth, get rewarded. We've been paying dividends. Well, we pay regular pay, of course, and the benefits packets and everything. But then we give growth bonuses twice a year. We've been giving to every employee from the bottom to the top. And those kind of things really help, get people endeared to you. They say, you know what, he's not here just to make money. He's not just there to ride on my case, right? Everybody needs to be treated with total respect and everything, right? And then we love to spend 7 or 8 or 9, 10,000 now as gifts to our investors and our vendors. So my daughter does all that from Harry and David, very fine company. So we send 5-tier or 4-tier chocolates and all different things, very nicely ribboned up, and they give us some discounts, and we just upload the list to them, and then they ship it out free. They give us free shipping, all that stuff, which is, I'm sure everybody can do it, but that's something we love to do it in November of every year. And they send us pictures when it shows up at their place. Many of our investors take a picture. Some people even give us videos how their kids open the gifts, So that's just a small thank you, and just feeling appreciated. I think everybody loves to be, there is a definite need to be just that. We are not only raising money, helping them to earn great returns, anywhere from 18 to 67% per year I've given in my lifetime so far, but now we are giving huge returns, 63%. I'm not selling any security or anything, like 63% in 3 years, 63%. That's 21% in Class A building.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's insane. It's totally insane. I mean, we could make a lot of money, but I really believe in sharing the wealth. And that's the only way. Because you share a lot more, give out, more comes back in.
And that's always the way it's been. It's so crazy. It's like some kind of reverse psychology of just the way that the human brain works. If you're just more of a generous person, and you're generous not because you want to get more, like you want to receive more, but just because you want to give, then it always comes back to you like tenfold. And it never makes any sense, but that's just the way it is. And it sounds like you are a very generous person.
It's a universal law. It really is, and I always believe that. I think if we just follow the laws and let them work in our life, I think, yeah.
So Vinny, I got another question for you.
You bet, buddy. I'm all yours.
What is the secret to your consistent positivity?
The secret is the mindset, I think. I used to get up at 7 o'clock when I was doing W2 job. Now I get up at 4:45 without the alarm. Before the alarm had to wake me up, now I wake up the alarm.
Yeah.
That's a good term. Hey, I wake up the alarm. Hey, I should do something on that. I love that. But that's the truth. I mean, I just feel like, I want to give my very best. And I have the attitude in my mind that I'm not old. At 69, I'll be 69 this year. I want to be sitting just like this straight, eating right and doing miracle morning in the morning and doing yoga and everything, listening to the chanting and, taking care of my body and soul. The key thing is that what you want to become one day, you're in the process of becoming today. I learned that from my very big mentor, a billionaire actually, who had his hand on my head for 40 years, and he passed away at 80. But the key thing is we got to be feeling good and positive and wake up. A lot of people wake up in the morning half dead. They should just go back to sleep, I tell them. Literally, I mean, if you're not excited, if you have to really wake up every morning and you're just going slouchy and this, I mean, when I get up at 4:45 or 5 o'clock, I am ready to go to my, kitchen and, listen to the really good things and all. And then I start making my coffee and I'm just listening to some positive hymns of Hindu. I'm a Hindu, all the nice things. But the key thing is, I don't know what's the calendar. I don't even look at my calendar. All my appointments get set up and everything. Then in the morning, I come to seeing who I'm seeing, and I'm positioning myself to make the difference in every meeting. Every meeting. Today, this is my seventh meeting, I think. And every time from 6 o'clock onward in the morning, I started Pacific, 6 o'clock, which is what time is it now? Maybe 2 or 3. I'm ready like that. I just went, I just came to my office because it's not work, it's fun. So please make it fun. If it's not fun, there is something missing in your life. Even if it's W2, give your best of the best of the best, and then try to cut down the time you got to do your work so that you can have more time to do a lot more things in a side gig, right?
Yeah.
That's what I say. But you got to move the needle. You got to move the needle. I say that always. I'm talking to one of my coaching students today, and John did too. We recorded it. 18 years of age. 18 years of age is crushing it like crazy. My students are getting syndication done within 2 months, 3 months. I mean, they're just flying like eagle, which I'm really excited because that tells me that they can take the material and just take off. And we meet every Wednesday mastermind. Of course, we are a small group. We are not, because education is not my business, right? I just want to give myself, right? But we do have people who pay me 30, 40,000 also, very few, but I don't want to sell those courses. The big thing is if we can move them to a new level quicker and faster. I coach myself. I have no coaches. I don't believe in that because I believe like if I can come in there every Wednesday and deal with everybody and give my best without notes and share with them the knowledge, that will mean a lot.
That is so powerful. Everything you just said, from waking up early to moving the needle to just having faith in yourself and believing that it can be something that you can do, even if you're in the W-2 now and you're trying to get out of the W-2, because I feel like maybe a lot of the listeners out there right now are in that position. Just waking up with that confidence and waking up earlier, like you said. Don't wake up like 30 minutes before you got to go, and then you wake up and you're scrambling to put clothes on and grab the kids and everything else that goes on in the morning. Have some you time. And I like that you mentioned Miracle Morning too, because I actually started that, I think, a year and a half ago.
Awesome.
And Hal Elrod's book, Miracle Morning, has been
I would like to also, I'm so glad you're saying that. And Josh, I mean, we do goal setting, sheet forms. Love to have your listeners get it from me, just like that. So please let us know and we'll provide you. It's a fillable form in PDF. And we give it to our students in the academy. It gives them very pointed business goals, personal goals, the whys, why 2021 is going to be strong, top 3 goals for the quarter 1, 2, 3, what happened last year, all those things. If you want to, love to.
Yeah. So let's do this. You can send that over to me. I'll have my marketing team set that up to post it out on social media. And once it gets posted, we'll create some kind of hashtag for that.
Yeah, I just showed it to my students.
Yeah.
This is my 30 years of goals. 30 years of goals. I mean, I believe, look at this. I mean, so the things don't come just like that, right? But you've got to take time. to take your life to the next level, right? So this is my goal sheet, goal book, notebook, I call it, success book, I call it. And it goes way back, and it's got my goals with wife to be the most loving husband, caretaker, big thinker, spend quality time with the family, respectful, humorous, all those things, right? So you write those things down, then the cosmo brings it back, and you look at those goals, what you want to really become one day, that person with affirmation, you will become that person, right?
I love that. Everything about that I love. So we're going to post that on social media, the PDF, so that anyone can download it that wants to do it. And then all they have to do is post whatever they come up with for their goals. And so that'll
I
be
love
like
it.
their accountability, and there'll be a
Yeah.
hashtag on there so
Yeah.
you can see it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, right before we go into the next segment of the show, you might have touched on this a little bit earlier, but we just want to touch base on it again. What does the future look like for you? What are these big, hairy, audacious goals in 2021?
2021, I want to raise $100 million.
Woo!
And I think
awesome.
we'll do it. We'll do it because we already have so many things working along, and my circle has increased so much. I have billionaires and millionaires in my fold now, and they want me to buy. I have 500,000 investors, 500, 500,000 investors now. It's how big you think. It just works for you. I also started with a company in like a startup company in the Silicon Valley, and my friend who took his first company to 100 million, he's got me going now. He says, Vinny, buy a $70 million deal in Austin. You don't have to worry raising a dollar. I have friends who are going to put money right there, and then he'll be my general partner and I will be there. So we got money flowing through our ears with the click funnels, with the active campaigns, and through targeting our avatar to the Indian and American doctors, CPAs, and all. We are now getting so many leads come in through all this automation that John Rusin is busy in meeting with them on Zoom for first meeting, then meet second time, then third time. So we have 125 new high net worth investors just waiting for the next deal. So I had 221 plus this one, and we are getting 4, 5, 6 new leads coming in just like crazy. So we have built this branding machine where all these passive investors are just coming in, and they're just reading my book or something, or they're listening to my podcast. I've got 4 shows a week now.
Man.
So so, and hold on, I just do one live show a week. Then I do one live show every 2 weeks. But then I only record once each month, only one time. But I've got 8 interviews in there, top speakers and all that. That's where I'm keeping everything intact, so that we are able to bring some good high content for the investors. So that's where we are kind of focused quite a bit. So you asked me, right, Vinny, what's your goal this year? 100 million. Then next year, same thing and same thing and same thing, because we'll be doing almost 200 million, almost 150 to 200 million each year for the next 10 years. That's why I brought the number 2 billion, So that is in the assisted living side. But then we'll be buying hotels. That's my other company, Moneil Hospitality. We bought a Hilton Garden Inn last year back, 2019 December. Fortunately, even during COVID, we were 87% occupied. You might say, Vinny, why and how? Because the medical staff chose our hotel.
Wow.
The nurses and the doctors, they are staying our hotel. We lucked out somehow in that time, God helps, So that way, so we are ready to buy some Marriott, some Comfort Inns. So I have a lot of my investors who are very ready to put money, because we'll be buying at 40, 50, 60% discount with the COVID now. So we are ready for that branch of my company, Moneil's Hospitality, it's called. And then Moneil Senior Living is the other one. Moneil Branding is another one. Then Moneil Investments is another one. Moneil Management is another one. So that's where, my goals are for the next 10 years, to buy multifamily already established with conventional, right? And buy it in good emerging markets. Second one is building senior assisted living every year. And then also buying senior assisted living after 3 years. Everything we're going to build, we're going to buy those and do 1031 exchanges and tax ramifications and buy hotels
That's so
and build
cool.
startup companies, and then build that assisted living software, which we are already starting now. We're going to hire IT people and everybody in India. And then, we are doing just the groundwork now to start from scratch, build this software, which will be marketing in USA and across the world.
Talk about diversification. You're doing all kinds of things. That's so cool. Okay. Well, we are going to go ahead and jump right into the next segment of the show called the Pod Decks segment. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Pod Decks before, but it's just a company that creates these decks of cards here. Okay. And at the back of each card is just a question. So this is going to be like, pick a card, any card. We're going to pick two, and then I'm just going to ask them.
Oh, please.
So you tell me when to stop.
Oh, okay. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Yeah. Hey, all right. I love that. What's it called? Hard deck or something?
Pod decks.
Pod decks. Okay, decks. I like that. Maybe I'm learning. Hey, you're learning every single day. And you tell me something. I want to always, be learning. Because if we don't learn, we die. We die, literally. We should be so receptive to all these things. And one thing I'd like to tell your audience, I have bought thousands of books, right? But I've never completed a book in reading from back to the front or like that, because a lot of people spend so much time in reading the whole book, but they miss the main thing. You got to get 3 things that you're going to implement out of that book. If it's mental, if it's physical, or wherever, so that you can use some knowledge to harness to grow you as a person or your business or something. So I really believe in that. I always look for things which I can implement, not just for my brain to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I love that you had an educational piece in there about a segment of the show that we're about to get into. You had something positive to say about it and something educational. That's just your personality. It's just who you are. Okay, we're going to jump in now, and I'm going to ask the first question.
All right.
What is something that you get wrong almost every time you do it?
Oh my gosh. I think to say yes. I say yes so quickly, but I don't go wrong though. I think I'm learning to say no also. My personality is such that I'm a very positive person, and I'll figure out a way to accommodate as many people as I can, but I'm learning to say no. That's a short answer. I would say the other thing which I always go wrong. I also believe in life where we say, don't do analysis to paralysis stage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. A lot of us in the human culture, and all our friends and a lot of people who don't take those risks, they want to make sure that they're 100% right. Nobody's 100% right. I'm never 100% right. But I heard somewhere, somebody told me, maybe Tom Hopkins, a great mentor from Phoenix, with the art of selling anything, how to master the art of selling anything, by the way, is a great book, which taught me great lessons. He talks about if you're only making the right decisions 51% of the time, you will live okay. So 51 and 99, look at that. So I would say, even if you can make a good decision, 61% you're sure, or 75, maybe even 80%, jump in it, and figure it out.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. Next question. What's a New Year's resolution that you know you should really make, but you never do?
Okay, good point. You know what? Never do. I believe in making resolutions, but keeping them as much as very I can, right? So one of the thing we have always done medical morning. I've been doing it for a few years now, which is fabulous. I think eating right, and not do. That's interesting. I know. I also have been painting. Maybe I've never shown this. I'd love to show you here. I don't know if you're recording it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
recording. So that's my one of the oil paintings that I've done, right? And I've done all these things. This is my studio, my home office, where we
Yeah.
do all these things. So that's something I'm already thinking. I bought that iPad Pro, and where I want to learn with the pencil how to do watercolors and all that. So that's my new thing. And again, I'm thinking, Vinny, how could you really do more than what I do as a business, right? So I don't know. I know your questions are you want to do it, but you do it wrong or something. Maybe in my vocabulary, that wrong thing doesn't come.
Yeah. Neat. You're always learning new stuff. Love it. You've incorporated that in every area of your life, not just business and personal, but also like hobbies,
Yes, yes,
learning
yes.
new stuff. Okay. Now we're going to go into the last segment of the show called the Core Four, which is the same four questions we ask every guest. And the
Okay.
first question is, what is your favorite real estate related book?
Favorite real estate related book? I would say, I learned a lot from the Purple Book, right?
Yeah.
That was great one from Robert Kiyosaki. Another book was by Galini. I think Galini. It talks about all the different ratios. I should have a copy of it to show everybody. It's a great cash flow equations or something. I don't remember the name of it, but that my son gave me. Hold on, Neil gave me that book as a gift on Christmas, and it's a great book. It talks about ratios and all the concepts about real estate and all that. I think it's by Galil. I may be wrong the spelling wise, but yeah, yeah.
Cool. Love it. I don't know. I definitely read the Purple Book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know that I've heard of
And then my book,
Galini.
hey, this one and this
Yeah.
one. And then we have two more coming. By the way, just to say that we are coming with this one, which is the Senior Living Investing Made Easy. Wow. They
Okay.
put so much good stuff we have learned in the last 3 years in this book. It's going to really revolutionize a lot of people when they read it, why they should be really investing in this niche. And then my fourth book is coming out, which is actually on lending, apartment lending made easy. That's my fourth book with a co-author, Bo Eckstein, my talk show host also, which we do it on Friday show live. And then the fifth book is coming for our medical professionals, passively investing, to looking at their mindset. I really believe if I can help lots and lots of great avatars, and make life easy for them, they would love to invest with a lot of people and what to look for and all that, right? Then the sixth book is on the IT professionals. Again, made easy. Investing made easy is my brand. So I have a desire to really come up with some really good things which people can understand quickly, easily. And then youth, that's my other one. I have a very soft spot. I have a youth academy already in my whole courses, which will be free for life. And even if I die, I'll have it under our, foundation, where it will be run in a non-profit or whatever. But it's the youth academy where I can teach the youth of America and around the world at the age of 14 how to really get into entrepreneurship and teach them about savings and teach them about real estate, and so that they can get that success habits formed at a very early age. Yeah, along with learning from the school in the junior high and high school, they do the success path. so that they can be into a really good entrepreneurship mind as they graduate from, college and all that.
That's so powerful. So it sounds like I need to get into the senior living niche before you release that book, because then it's going to be flooded with people trying to get in. Okay, next question. What do you think your unique skill is that helped you become successful?
My unique skill is I can do 36 things at the same time. Literally.
36.
36 things. I mean, you give me as many things, I compartmentalize everything, my logical mind, and I do emails, dictations, I do my courses, I do everything in first take. I just put 4 or 5 bullet points down. I've never scripted anything in my life. And I just go with the complete gusto and give the very best in the first take. That's what I do. So essentially, the idea is that you can do this and this and this and this and this. So I've taken the vocabulary word or out of it. So a lot of people have the mentality and the mindset, I can only do 3 things, or I can only do one thing good, or I can only do this or this or this or this. My mind is so small, I can't do everything. I take the gesture, I can do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then you come up with a game plan. You prioritize, you delegate, and now you're able to accomplish so much.
Wow. That could be a whole nother 2, 3, 4 hours of just delegation and outsourcing and all that. But we are running out of time. We will not get into that. So the next question is, and this is my favorite question. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Tell me something that's true about real estate that almost nobody agrees with you on.
True about real estate and nobody agrees. Okay, I think maybe people will agree. I always have said that, it just comes to my mind right now, that you work so hard to do the due diligence and loan qualification and everything, and we work so hard, right? The hardest part in a syndication or any purchase of real estate is when you get the keys.
Okay.
So essentially, before we close on the deal and get the millions of dollars, like $52 million deal we bought, like, the keys, when the seller gave us the keys, now it was $52 million with a loan and everything. And that's when we need to really get in high gear to manage that asset. So a lot of people don't agree to that early on, but once they go into the system, they say, Vinny, you are so right. It's not before raising money, syndication, due diligence. That was just like a small port. Now that was only 3 months, let's say 90 days, right? But now it's a 7-year deal. And the hardest thing is that we have to make it work cash flow wise every month, every quarter, and make sure that we deliver on our assumptions. So maybe, I don't know if that's the right answer, but that just came to my mind. A lot of people believe that, oh yeah, it's piece of cake, but it's not.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. There's probably a lot of people out there that either have done a deal before and are just waiting or trying to pursue the next one, or there's probably a ton of people out there maybe trying to get into larger syndications or multifamily or just any larger scale of an acquisition, and they're in the chase mode right now, calling brokers, talking to lenders, calling investors, trying to raise money, and they haven't experienced what it is like when you actually close and now you own it for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now you have to actually perform. Like, you've been telling all these investors, this is kind of the plan. And now it comes time to actually do it. So I like that you mentioned that.
That's the showtime. I call it showtime. You got to get so much involved into the systems, and you got to do total due diligence. That's why in my book, the one five plates. One of the plate in my five plates in this book is property management. That's the fifth plate. Even though we don't talk about it, but that's a very big plate. And we need to be totally immersing ourselves. We did our own, starting from scratch. And I hired the right people, paid them 35,000. I think I discussed, to come to San Antonio, Texas, and develop our own company. Within 3 months, 2 months, we were able to running and managing all our assets. And that was the best investment I did of 35,000, But the key thing is you got to really find the right partner, right property management company to qualify for the loan also. If you don't have an experience, the lender will not give you the loan unless you have a great property management, because they are worried how are you going to pay the mortgage. So that's why they want the experience and see who are these people, what's their track record and all that, right? Yeah. And then you learn a lot, I think the real teaching and learning comes from property management side, where you are delivering day in, day out the results that make you very, very strong in the field.
Definitely. Okay. So, Vinny, what one piece of advice would you give to our listeners wanting to succeed in real estate investing?
I would say action. I say that you got to move the needle every single day and every single week. If you're not talking to investors, maybe one or two or three a week at least, and you're not giving some presentations to investors and talking to brokers, you got to move the needle. You got to be accountable. If you are really thinking about it's going to be a business that's going to pay you high dividends, you got to take action and learn the materials, but apply the materials. It's more than just learning, but underwriting and things like that. So I would say, massive action, like we call it, right? Tony Robbins talked about that, massive action, but you got to move the needle. And a lot of my students say, Vinny, I love coming to your Wednesday mastermind because I have accountability to you. And you reach out and you ask some people and you say, okay, what did you do last week? And, sometimes I don't do my, calls with the investors. I do it on Tuesday because I know Vinny might ask me on Wednesday. So that accountability helps a lot.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned when you said move the needle, you're like talking to lenders, talking to investors, talking to brokers, because real estate is by and large just one giant relationship-based business. Yeah. And I hate to say it in a way because it's all about who you know, but in a good way. You create those genuine connections. You help people create those win-win scenarios. Yeah, I love that.
All right. Gosh, what you're saying is so right. It's the network is going to make you strong. It's the network with your investors base, your broker base in the emerging markets where you're going to buy. You don't want to waste time of brokers, right? You want to make sure you are talking to the brokers in the right unit range. You also want to talk to brokers and communicate with them immediately. You give feedback, because if you are just coming out with not knowing the lingo and talking sense, they're going to write you off like this. You'll be thrown out into the bushel of all these scrappy investors. I'm telling you, but the thing is, you need to really take it seriously. It's a business that you want to bring passive cash flows or active cash flows. And if you want to make it independent, it took me how many? I just retired in 2015. I started business in 6. It took me 8 years, 9 years. So it's not that easy. I could have retired early. I just was working only 4 months in a year in my motivation speaking, so I didn't mind it. I said, I will keep on doing that and this and all that stuff, which I was very excelling in that branch also, by the way. I had my best of the best year in 2008. and got a lot of awards in that company. But I was doing my business also on the side, but working hard in the real estate also.
Yeah.
So you have to pay the price for the success. You got to treat it as a business. You got to treat it as a business.
Love that. Vinny, if anybody wants to learn more about you and your business, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm all over the internet, as you know. You can just Google Vinney Chopra, Vinney, B as in Victor, Inney, Chopra, Chopra. Just Google. You'll come across all the posts and everything in the videos, all the way from YouTube to Instagram to Twitter to LinkedIn and to Facebook groups and all. And the website, which is vinneychopra.com. That's where you can meet me there, and you can just slash it to say mentorship or passively investing and everything. And then senior living investing is a new website because I'm going to be very strong for the next 20 years in that arena. So that's a brand new site, seniorlivinginvesting.co. Com was taken away. So I just went with CO. So that's another one. And then multifamilyacademy.com. I'm all over the place.
All over the place. Google him, look up his show, go to his mastermind, a gazillion different ways to meet Vinny. Well, Vinny, I know that I'm going to be smiling for the rest of the night.
Thank you, Josh. You've been such a blessing. Thank you so much for the time you've spent with me. And I wish you all the best luck with you and your two partners. And, just have tremendous. If I can be of any help, or all of us in my team here, but any help, let us know. And I know we are going to St. Louis also, building lots of senior assisted living multifamily. We are in the multifamily business. I'm also investing in mobile home parks and storage and all these. So if anybody listening to us, if you have a great deal, not as a GP partner, as an LP partner, I love to invest. As you make so much money, you got to invest in other deals,
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, we've actually got an opportunity coming up for multifamily, but it's in Mobile. So I don't know if you're interested in the Mobile.
Oh, is that right? Mobile, Alabama, is that right?
Yeah.
Holy cow, I love Mobile and Huntsville too, because of the tech space and all. Share with me, with John and I. So,
we'll have to get you on the list there and make sure that you get all the updates.
Sure. How big is it? I know we are not talking on that deal right now, but is it a big site? Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and end the recording, and then I can talk about it. We'll edit that out. But anyway, thanks so much, Vinny, for coming out and joining us. I very much appreciate it. And I know that I got a ton out of this. So I am positive, consistently positive that other people got a ton out of that as well. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Josh.
All right, man. See you later.
See you.
Okay. So what'd you guys think? Was that the most positively positive episode that you've ever heard? And I believe that you guys, or if you're listening to this on iTunes or whatever, definitely make sure you go check us out on YouTube, where you can actually see his continued smile and grin and his continued happiness and positivity and his mindset. I think that if you guys got one thing out of this, it is definitely having a positive mindset, but also being realistic in terms of analyzing deals, in terms of pursuing deals, and making sure that you're going to get the best possible return for your investors. And go read his books. Listen to this episode again. Guys, I'm probably going to listen to this episode like 4 or 5 times, constantly laughing and having a fantastic time with Vinny. But that is all we got, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you're subscribing. Make sure you're leaving a rating and review. That definitely helps other people to be able to see and hear from some of the great guests that we're bringing on. and to also be able to learn everything that you guys are learning on how to, change your mindset and how to invest in real estate and why we're investing in different asset classes and all the different amazing topics that we're going over here on the show. So subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. That's all I've got for you guys. So this is Josh Ferrari signing off.